in all the times in my studies, I have studied a lot of law. I've studied I've studied a lot of law in my time on um, different laws in the legal system, etc. Right. So, in my times in my ignorance of not knowing law, uh, I end up figuring out that the Bible is the number one law that governs the world. So I know we got a lot of different people with a lot of different ideologies in class tonight, but hopefully I'll be able to prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that you do need to study and read and know the Bible. Okay, it will help you in class. I mean, it will help you in court. Hey, Christy, how y'all doing? I'm gonna cut this light on here in a second. My phone's plugged up to the charger, so if you can't see me over here on the other, you can join the link if you want to see the screen share. You won't be able to see a screen share on here per se, but if you do log into the webinar, whatever one you choose, I will call out the verses that we will be covering tonight. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody another few minutes to go ahead and get into the system. What I think I can do, give me 1 second, guys, while we get started. Okay. It was right on. All right, it's all good. Working. Hey guys, let everybody trickle in. It's 10:03. We get started in just a second. You guys should have gotten an email with the link. Excuse me, if you click the link, you should be able to see this live from the webinar jam. Okay, guys? Please excuse me, I'm gonna lock this thing up, guys. Get going. Give everybody just a few more minutes. How y'all doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. So if you have had any issues in the past, I need that toy off, guys. If you haven't have, can y'all cut that toy off? Oh, never mind. All right. So if you are having any, no problem. If you are having issues with court, if you have been summoned to court for debt, definitely want to understand what's going on with class here tonight. Okay, it does help on the spiritual side of things with the battle that you're about to, if you do have court. Okay, I have seen a lot of information out, especially like with Miss Corin Gaines. She was accused of being a so-called sovereign citizen, and I want to debunk what people call a sovereign citizen um, tonight. Okay, I want to debunk that because it's not about sovereign and being a citizen. They don't go hand in hand. They're actually two opposite terms. So if you hear anybody trying to use the term sovereign and citizen, they're either one, ignorant of law whatsoever. Okay, very ignorant of law. Conditions very well. It does not go together. Okay, so a situation where one of our brothers he had wrote exactly like this so-called. Let me find it real quick. I'm not gonna look it up because then you can see it over here. I don't want to say who, but he was sharing with us his. A lot of people have started learning a little bit more about the legal system and their rights. And one of the main things that we're the reason why it's set up the way it is the Bible. So those of you that have been in the program with us for quite some time now, you all may have already seen what it is that I'm talking about. Yes, and if there's a lot of disinformation over the term sovereign and citizen, And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I, Javaris Banks, never claimed to be sovereign, and we're gonna prove that tonight. Never claimed to be sovereign, okay? Because so for you to claim to be sovereign is almost fighting words to the court system. Let's pull up real quick. I am over on the webinar jam. All right, guys. Maybe what I can do is do this. Turn around. Yep, that'll work. Let's see if that holds. All right. Yep, that'll hold there. Let me look this up so you all can see over here on this side. Google. We're going to Google 97-280 for this is a very, very, very good law you need to know and understand. It's going to be hard for you guys to read it from this angle. Public Law 97-280. All right. If anybody is on Webinar Jam and you cannot see, thank you, and I appreciate that, Jay. If anyone cannot see what's going on, please just let me know if you're having problems. Type in the chat, okay? But we are covering Public Law 97-280 right now. Reads. The 97th Congress of the United States publicly declares 1983 year of the Bible. The bipartisan document known as Public Law 97-280 was signed October 4th, 1982 by Speaker of the House Thomas P. Ornell, President of the Senate Tim Poor, Strom Thurmond, and the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. It reads as follows. Whereas the Bible has made a unique contribution in shaping the United States as a distinctive and blessed nation of people, held religious convictions spring from the Holy Scriptures led to the early settlement of our nation. Whereas the Bible teachings inspire concepts of civil government in our declarations of independence and the Constitution of the United States. Great nations and leaders, among them President Washington, Jackson, Lincoln, contribute to the surpassing influence of the Bible in our country's development, as in the words of President Jackson, that the Bible is the rock on which our republic rests. Okay? Whereas the history of our nation clearly illustrates value of voluntarily applying the teachings of the scriptures in the lives of individuals, families, and societies, whereas this nation now faces great challenges that will test this nation as it has never been tested before. Whereas the renewing of our knowledge of and faith in the Most High through Holy Scriptures can strengthen us as a nation and people. Now, therefore, be it. So there you go. Out of the House of the Senate, President of the United States has admitted that at least this country is based off of the Bible, whether you believe the Bible or not. Okay, I know there's a lot of different people around here that you've seen a lot. You may have a lot of doubts and questions about the Bible. So I want to share with you the term that has been viewed as basically a word of terrorism, that they call it. Sovereign. Let's get the definition of the word sovereign. Okay, a sovereign is a supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Okay, especially a monarch. Let's click over here on the definition of it real quick. A sovereign, a monarch, a king, a king, a queen, or other supreme ruler, a person who has supreme power or authority. Group or body of persons or states having sovereign authority. All right. So a sovereign authority. Let's see if we can get the definition of the word citizen. Let's get the law definition of citizen. A citizen, a person who by place of birth, nationality of one or more parents, or by going through the naturalization process, has sworn loyalty to a nation. Has traditionally taken the position that an American citizen losing his or her citizenship if he or she commits the following acts showing loyalty to another country, including sources potentially unfriendly to the United States, or voting in a foreign country. However, if the foreign nation recognized Canada, is Ireland are common examples, will overlook this duality of nationalities. They will overlook the duality of nationality. So, would a sovereign supreme authority allegiance to a nation? I want y'all to think about that again. Now, would a sovereign supreme so-called authority pledge their loyalty to a nation? When a king or queen of a nation, why would you need to pledge your authority, pledge to a nation? All right, guys, it makes a lot of sense. Let's cover the next one. Let's look it up and together and watch what pops up when you put the two together. Sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizens, right here at the top, guys. Sovereign citizens believe that U.S. citizens are either 14th Amendment citizens, subject to federal and state laws and taxes, who are subject only to common law or constitutional law, are not bound to obey statutory law. Let's see if we can get a little more. Sovereign citizen is a term used to refer to a political movement which grew out of a belief in government abuse of power, often refused to hold Social Security cards, or avoid using zip codes. Sovereign citizens believe the United States citizens are either believe the United States citizens. Listen to this now. Oh, I lost it. There we go. All right. They believe that. Give me one second, guys. All right. They believe that that U.S. citizens, 14th Amendment citizens, who are subject to federal and state laws and taxes. Now think about it. How could you be a sovereign citizen and you're a citizen? A citizen is subject subject to federal laws and taxes. Okay, with who are subject to federal laws and taxes, citizens who are subject only to common law, constitutional law, or both, to obey statutory law. No court has ever upheld these claims. Sovereign citizens also may be referred to freemen or common law citizens. Citizens defined by the Anti-Defamation League as the following. The sovereign citizen movement is a collection of groups who have adopted a right-wing anarchist ideology. Listen to this crap. Originated in the theory of a group called the Posse Comitatus 70s, its adherents believe that all existing government in the United States is illegitimate, restore and idolize government that never actually existed. And sovereign citizens wage war against government and other forms of authorities by using paper, terrorism, harassment, intimidation tactics, resorting to violence. Okay, guys, this is one of the first things that pop up on the internet. Okay, so you're going to have people that's going to look at this term with the first thing they clicked on at the top. Okay, let's see if we can find the real definition of citizen. Slave means slave. Let's see if we can find it in a court case real quick. Here you go, slavery in ancient Rome. And I don't think you all are on Webinar Jam. I apologize if it is causing you all problems. I don't see anybody attending the webinar online, but I'm going to keep it recording for the sake that hopefully it does record and do a replay for you, okay? But I'm looking up the term. Let's do this for it. There we go. I think I might have what I need there. All right, can y'all see that, guys? I think y'all should be good. Slavery in ancient Rome played an important role in society and the economy. Besides manual labor, slaves performed many domestic services and might be employed at highly skilled jobs and professions. Accountants and physicians are often slaves. Greek slaves in particular might be highly educated. Unskilled slaves to slavery as punishment in mines and at mills. Their living conditions were brutal and their lives short. Slaves were considered property under Roman law and had no legal personhood. You hear that? No legal personhood. Roman citizens, they could be subject to corporal punishment, sexual exploitation. Prostitutes were often slaves, torture, and summary execution. The testimony of a slave could not be accepted in a court of law, was tortured, a practice based on the belief that slaves in a position to the privy of their master's affairs be too virtually loyal to reveal damaging evidence unless coerced. However, slaves gained increased legal the right to file complaints against their masters. Attitudes changed in part because of the influence among the educated elite, Stoic, who egalitarian views of humanity extended to slaves. Roman slaves could hold property, which, despite the fact that it belonged to their masters, to use as if it were their own. Educated slaves were allowed to earn their own money and might hope to save enough to buy their freedom. Often free by the terms of their master's will or for services rendered. A notable example of high status slave was Tiro, the secretary of Cicero. Tiro was freed before his master's death and was successful enough to retire on his own country estate where he died at the age of 99. All right, guys, that's a Roman slave. Now, if you would notice, in 2016, you can buy a house, and even after you pay the house off, you will still have to pay taxes to your master, and that is the state. All right. You also can work and earn a wage just like a Roman slave. Now, we don't go through corporal punishment. We don't go through so-called sexual exploitation. But just to give you an idea of a slave in Rome, guys, I mean, these guys didn't have any rights. And it's almost similar to what we're going through today. Now, citizen and sovereign is what I was getting at. All right. Let's get over here to Psalms 119, verse 1. And we're going to start Psalms 149. Hold on one sec. All right, that's much better now. There we go. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. There you go. Now, if a slave, if their king is God Most High, how could you be king? There you go, flat out. How could you be king? Sorry about that. I got a phone call. Randall was extremely late in calling me. I texted him before class. It was extremely. How could you be called sovereign if Israel rejoices in their king? Okay, whoever their king is will be the sovereign. All right, let's go back. Let them praise his name, which I do, in dance. Let them sing praise unto him with the timbrel and harp. For the Lord hath taken pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praise of God be in their mouth, sword in their hand. Okay? Let it be a two-edged sword in their hand. All right? Give me 1 second, guys. Can you take them up? Somebody take them, please. Okay. All right, sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. Their kings with chains and their nobles iron. Upon them the judgment written. Have all his saints praise ye the Lord. So every one of us in this class and group, it's the honor of the saints to be able to execute the judgment written. Okay, guys, you can actually get someone through the mail. All right, and the judgment will be written. All right, not a coincidence, is it? Let's cover real quick how this plays into what's going on in the world. All right, you can find where the Most High is sovereign. I'm gonna start off with Daniel chapter 4. Actually, Daniel chapter 3. I think it's Daniel 3. Give me 1 second. No, that's Daniel 3. Might be Daniel 5. There we go. It's Daniel chapter 5. All right. This is it's all good, Randall. This is actually Daniel talking to the king of where's this? Babylon. Okay, he's talking to the king of Babylon, and for public officials and governments to put out disinformation about people, but they can't put out disinformation about the Most High. Well, they can't put out disinformation. They just don't cover this type of information in church for some reason. I don't know why. I don't even talk about it. Let's cover it. Daniel chapter 5, verse 17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another, the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. King, the Most High God, we know, O thy king, the Most High God, gave Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, a kingdom, and glory, and honor, and for the majesty gave him nations, languages, trembled and feared before him. He slew, and whom he would keep alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would put down. He was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, rose from his kingly throne. So if a king can be disposed from his throne, a public official can be disposed from his public seat. King can be disposed. There's not a person in the government that can't be put in their right place. Okay? And they looked, and they took his glory from him. He was driven from the sons of men, made like the beast. And his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like an oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven. That the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and that he appointeth over it whomsoever he will. Plain and simple. That is, the Most High is sovereign. Okay, guys? Don't ever let anybody throw that term sovereign citizen on you. Don't do that, ever. Don't let anybody put out don't let anybody trick you with, hey, you're a sovereign citizen, you're talking about common law. I don't even really talk about common law. I go and talk about God's law. Common law and constitutional law are based off of the law associated with the Bible. 97-280. All right? So I don't have to use the Constitution. I don't have to use independence. All I have to use is the Torah. I can prove all that in the Bible. You must know that the Most High is sovereign. Why? It's because some of the things used against you to extract taxes, and money and fines and fees against you, your lack of knowledge on what they're doing, on how to enforce. Okay, because if you went to church at all, God is not a lie. Okay, a lie. So, and we find out that swear an oath, it should bind your soul and bond your soul. Why do public officials have oath of offices? Why? Why do they have to have bonds and insurance? Why? Okay? Understand this. Then in order, until we start operating statutes and commandments of the Most High, we're always, as a people, going to be in a predicament that we've been in. Okay? I'm going to give you an example of what the children of Israel did. And you tell me if this don't sound like our brothers and sisters running around right now trying to figure out how to pull themselves together. This oppression. Why are we dying? Why is this happening to us? Let's see. First step, the people confess their sins. Let's read Nehemiah chapter 9. Nehemiah chapter 9. Now in the day, not the 20th and 4th day of this month, were assembled. There a lot of people don't know nothing about. You need to start fasting. There we go. And with sackcloth and earth upon them. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers. Segregation right there in the Bible. The children of Israel was not all about being with everybody. Stood and confessed their sins. There's one, guys. We have to confess. We have to confess where we went wrong. And I know a lot of people, I have people that argue against the scriptures all the time. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with not stealing and killing from your brother? Why can't you codify it yourself that you're going to agree not to steal, kill, lie on your brother, sleep with your brother's wife, and the iniquities of their fathers? And they stood up in their place and read in the book, the Torah, guys. They read in the book of the law. God, 1/4 part of the day. And they 1/4 part of the day, and another 4th part of the day, they confessed and worshiped the Lord, their God. They stood upon the stairs, Jeshua and Beni, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Sherebiah, and Chenani, and cried with a loud voice unto the Lord their God. Everybody in the streets been out praying. Oh, let me guess. Got a lot of people out in the streets praying, right? Right. Then the Levites said, stand up, bless the Lord your God forever and ever. Blessed be his glory. Blessed be thy glorious name, which is exalted above all blessings and praise. Thou, even thou, O Lord, alone, thou hast made heaven, the heaven of heavens, their host, the stars, the earth, and all the things that are therein, and all that is therein, and thou preservest them all. Worship thee. Thou art the Lord, the God, who didst choose Abram and brought him out of Ur of the Chaldees and gave him the name of Abraham, and found his heart faithful before thee, and madest a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it, I say, to his seed, and has performed thy word, for thou art righteous. And didst see the affliction of our fathers in Egypt, didst see the affliction of thy fathers in Egypt, heardest their cry by the Red Sea, Ferguson, Baltimore, and shewedest signs and wonders unto Pharaoh of his servants and all the people of his land, for thou knewest that they dealt proudly against them, so didst thou give thee a name as it is this day. And thou divided the sea before them, that they went through the midst of the sea on dry land, and their persecutors thou threwest in the depths as a stone into the mighty waters. Moreover, thou leddest them in the day by a cloudy pillar, by a pillar of fire, in the way wherein they should go. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest with them, and gavest them right judgments and true laws. And true laws, statutes, and commandments. Not these crappy city ordinances that are down because you got all the food you need in the garden. Okay? This is why it's a Law Thursday class. I had to go into these scriptures tonight, okay? And made it known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, and gavest them bread from heaven for their hunger, and brought us forth water, the rock of their thirst, that they should go to possess the land which thou hast sworn to give them. But they and our fathers dealt proudly and hardened their necks and hearkened not to thy commandments. Obey. Neither were mindful of their I lost my space. And in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage, but thou art a God ready to pardon and merciful, slow to anger, of great kindness, not. Yeah, when they had made them a molten calf and said, this is thy God that brought thee out of Egypt, and had wrought great provocations. Yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsook them not in the wilderness. The cloud departed not from them by day, neither the pillar of fire by night, to show them light, and thy way wherein thou shouldest go. Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them. Is not thy manna from their mouth, and gavest them water for their thirst. 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lack nothing, wax not old, and their feet swell not. Moreover, thou gavest them kingdoms and nations, divide them into corners. So they possessed the land of Sihon, and the land of King Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multiplied thou as the stars of heaven, and brought them in the land concerning which thou promised their fathers in to possess it. So I want to take a quick pause right there. When you read that that article that I put up about nations and how you form a nation, to have a nation, you have to have a land. So if you are a Israelite or one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, you would need to have a land associated with you. Personally, I would think that I want to be this nation, the nation of Israel. Let's show you why. I'm going to jump down a little bit. I want to cover the last couple of verses of it. Okay? Verse 33. Howbeit thou art just in all that is brought upon us. Let's go up. Verse 32. Now therefore our God, the great, mighty, and terrible God, who keep his covenant, let not all the trouble seem little before thee, being shot down in the streets, come upon us, O our kings, on our princes, and on our prophets, our fathers, and on all thy people, since the time of the king of Assyria until this day. I love when I read that in the Bible, unto this day, because it is unto this day. Howbeit thou art just in all that is brought upon us. Know that, okay? It's just what's happening to us, guys. I'm just keep it real with you. We've done some great provocations as a people. I'm sorry, I don't care if I do offend. I'm here being homosexuals. I'm here eating pork and shrimp. We can't be running around here praying. Yes, Ashley, you're absolutely. It's when you're living outside of God. We can't be the customs of the other nations and think that God is going to protect us, because Israel had specific rules they had to go by. Okay, guys, let's get it. Let's get the rest of it. 33. Howbeit thou art just in all that is brought upon us, for thou hast done right wickedly. Neither have our kings or our priests nor our fathers kept thy law, nor hearkened unto thy commandments and thy testimonies. Didst testify against them, that served thee in their kingdom, and in thy great goodness thou gavest them an enlarged and fat land, which thou gavest before them, they from their wicked works. Behold, we are servants this day. For the land that thou gavest unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it. It yielded much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us because of our sins. They have dominion over our bodies. They have dominion over our bodies. This is why they can shoot you down in the streets. I hate to be smiling about it, but it's just so for real. Dominion over our bodies by God because of our sins. Our sins, guys. Also, they have dominion over our bodies, over our cattle, at their pleasure. We are in great distress. And because of all this, we make a sure covenant, rid it, and write it, and our princes and Levites sealed unto it. So they actually wrote down this agreement in covenant with the Most High, sealed it, and sealed it. Further in that chapter, when you get some time, read it on your own. You will see in that chapter, put up 30% of their income to build the temple of the Lord. So understand, put up 10%, and that's what our plan has been right now. Put up 10% to your temple, your house. Okay, that's the first place. To your house. Your the head of the house is the priest. All right. Save. Every house needs to save. Every family needs to sit down and come together and start tithing that money to their house together, so that that family can make purchase things together as a family. You can have a family. I suggest that everybody go do a family funding pool where everybody in the family, every aunt, auntie, uncle, put some money into an escrow account and save it, and then have the most competent person in your family sit down and y'all figure out how to invest it. That's how you find it. I understand family can be tricky. House first. If you can't get the other houses to write down and agree to this covenant with you all, they just won't be part of it. Okay, they will not be part of it. All right. But I found it so amazing that they wrote it down and they sealed it. And if you go over to the next chapter, sign this thing. Y'all ready? Sign this. See that? How many people signed this covenant? Okay. Verse 28, it says in the chapter 10, verse 28, it said the rest of the people. So not only did the people sign it, all these different people. I mean, you got Obadiah. Look at all the people that sealed this. I'm gonna read it. Nehemiah sealed it. Jeremiah was there. Obadiah was there. Daniel was there. Abijah. Okay, these were all priests. Okay, and the rest of the people. The priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nethinims, and all them that had separated themselves from the people of the land unto the law of God. They separated themselves from the people of the lands unto the law of God. Their wives, their sons, their daughters, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. They clave to their brethren, their nobles, enter into a curse and into an oath to walk in God's law, which was given by Moses, the servant of God, to observe and to do all the commandments of the Lord, our Lord, and his judgments and his statutes, and that we would not give our daughters unto the people of the land, nor take their daughters for our sons. And if the people of the land bring ware or victual on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, that we would leave the seventh day and the exaction of every debt. Also, we made ordinances for us yearly, part of a shekel for service of the house of the Lord, for the showbread offering, continual burnt offering, and the new moons, for the holy things, and for the sin offerings, to make an atonement for Israel for all the work of the house of God. Okay, so there you have it in Nehemiah. They were going through the exact same situation then, going through now. Okay, now to tie it back, like Christy said, and I like that. Christy. The chapter was Nehemiah chapter 9 and 10. Nehemiah chapter 9 and chapter 10. Great read. For example, always a misquote. I know this was in Proverbs and wealth, children. That should pop up in Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. The sinner is laid up for the just. Okay, so when we say form your house, authenticate your birth certificate, wills, create an estate. Estates hold property over time from your children's children. One, the just, people that have the sinner's wages, which the people who run the world right now, is laid up for the just. Okay, to take our true seat, take a true identity, claim that you are keeping the commandments and actually keep the commandments. Keep those commandments. All right. Example of setting your houses straight, guys. A nation divided cannot stand. A neighborhood divided cannot stand. And surely a house divided cannot stand. You don't have a neighborhood or a nation without proper houses. What you do in here, get your house straight. Save 10% of your house first. Once we get all our cribs fixed, then we can go and make a covenant and link up with all the rest of the houses. Okay, guys, this is just my take on it. This is what I've been reading these scriptures. Guys, I'm going to call it a night tonight. All right. I love you guys. I hope this was, I'm going to share this class tonight with the public because everybody needs to see it. All right, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope if you had never read it, did you ever think that they were going through the exact same thing that we're going through now? They found themselves with enemies round about everywhere. Didn't know what to do. I got plenty more scriptures in here. We can go over Esther next week if you all don't mind. The book of Esther. And we'll talk about how God changed everything around for the children of Israel that was trying to kill them, turned around on them, and they end up finding their butt dead somewhere. Okay, guys. Thank you. I bless you guys. Shalom.